Stratford has its Bard, Scotland's got its Burns, and the Dales country now wears its Herriot on its sleeve.
Very quiet everywhere. Stand by.
This summer, inside the King's Head Hotel in Richmond, they're filming another special for Christmas of Mr. Herriot's long-running vet saga, All Creatures Great and Small. There isn't a cow or a sheep in sight, but there's a smouldering farmyard row on James Herriot's wedding anniversary.
Helen.
Sorry.
Oh, a damn clumsy thing to do.
I said I'm sorry.
Just leave it, just leave it.
What on earth's got into you, James Herriot?
Me?
Yes, you. Biting people's heads off for no reason.
What a mess.
It's not just that. It's been going on for days now.
Look, do you want some wine or don't
Oh,
you?
never mind the wine. I've had enough of your foul temper and it's got to stop. I know why you're like this. Very well, you're upset about Amber. James, we all are. Well, I can take your bad temper today, perhaps even tomorrow, but not tonight. This is our wedding anniversary, in case you've forgotten.
I haven't forgotten.
Then behave as though you mean it.
What about you? Hardly all sweetness and light, are you?
Thank you.
And if it's wet, and that's most of the time, the cast retreat into the barracks of the Green Howards Regiment, where the gymnasium becomes James Herriot's surgery. In this land of make-believe, Mr. Herriot is played by Christopher Timothy, who relishes Yorkshire just as much as his author.
It's harsh, it's got a coolness about it. Not a coldness exactly, a coolness. It's magnificent. It's high and it's low, it sweeps and it's rocky and it's green and it's packed with animals.
And people?
Hence my being here. Oh, the people are wonderful. They say things, well, you know this anyway, but they say things like, you tell them your best joke. The very best joke. And everyone, and you know it's your best joke because everyone who's opinion you value has said it's a good joke. And they say, oh, aye, that's quite nice. And you know that's praise indeed.
As well as working with animals, you've got to work with all sorts of instruments in here, like kidney bowls and finger bowls and, what do you call that, microscopes.
Yeah.
And a very peculiar-looking thing on that cupboard door. What is that?
I think it's the thing that you put a pill in the end of, stick it up down a horse's throat and go...
You see,
But anyone who sees that will say it isn't that at all. You know?
Do you have an advisor?
Yes, we do. We have Jack Watkinson, who is the vet in Leyburn, a great guy. He's become one of my best friends. I admire him tremendously, and he sort of thinks well of us. I mean, he thinks everything we do it's quite nice, Chris. so it means it's okay.
What sort of things does he teach you? Does he teach you how to hold a horse or how to hold a dog? Or, I mean, are there practical things which you didn't know about that you've learned?
The thing he taught me to do most, which is, this is a very old joke, and everyone's heard it, but he taught me how to stick my hand up a cow's bottom. It was almost the first thing we did. And the rest, I spent a week with him prior to any filming starting in '77, which was one of the best weeks I've ever had in my life. It was just wonderful. And I went out on all his calls. I watched operations. I learnt that I wasn't as squeamish as I always believed that I would be. I learnt that I wasn't as frightened of horses as I thought I should be. I had carnal knowledge of more cows than you've had Sunday lunch. And they tell you, you've been out of a cow's bottom 3 times, and they're looking over their shoulder going, it's the truth, I promise you.
This is the last shot of the last scene of the last day's shooting of this special.
Mr. Ripley!
It may or may not be a piece of television history.
Do you think this is the end of All Creatures Great and Small when they've done this particular special?
I'm fairly certain it is, yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
There's very, very little material left.
Well, surely there's another animal story every day, there isn't there? Or another warm human story
Well, it's a
every
case
day.
of what James Herriot's written, though, and it has to be, he will indeed only allow us to use what he's written, which I think is fair.
Oh, because
Because it's very much his style.
So,